One of the great things that a lot of people, including myself, am really looking forward to seeing in Star Wars Episode 9 has all to do with the major cameos that will be making their way into this movie by JJ. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing to truly look forward to seeing in this film has all to do with the character of Kylo Ren and how he will be taken down a far darker path in this movie. Now, I want to get on the subject of Anakin Skywalker because to me, he is the true face of the Star Wars franchise. If you really do think about it, it all really started with Anakin, at least as far as the movies go. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with a moment between both Kylo Ren and a nightmare of Anakin Skywalker's hybrid Force ghost. Specifically, a description of what's said to be a parallel to Anakin's nightmare in Revenge of the Sith with Kylo Ren sleeping in his chambers. It's described that Kylo hears mechanical voices speaking to him. That is described as a mixture of Vader and Anakin. The next goes over visuals of Kylo's dream being described as a black space, with a walking Vader figure morphing into the Anakin hybrid Force ghost in agony. The figure in Kylo's dream is described as a non-hooded version of Anakin's ghost, with parts of its face being mechanical, screaming in a similar fashion to when Anakin was burned on Mustafar. The last goes over Kylo waking up with Vader's lightsaber broken into 3 pieces on a stand next to his chambers and to Kylo Ren. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this and why it's a real big poetic moment in Episode 9 to Revenge of the Sith. Now, as you all know, if you guys go ahead and examine Revenge of the Sith, you will see that Anakin Skywalker goes through a nightmare about Padme Amidala's death by, of course, childbirth for Luke and Leia. And that's when, both Padme and Luke have their little talk on the balcony. In this scenario, it's Kylo Ren inside of his chambers, actually having a nightmare of his own grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, who eventually becomes Darth Vader. So, with that being said, this hybrid Force ghost concept of Kylo Ren actually seeing this in his dream, and actually hearing the screams of Anakin Skywalker mixed with Darth Vader, hence why they are mechanical voices as it's described. And as he wakes up next to his actual chambers, in his bed I would assume, there's an actual table that actually does have the broken pieces of Darth Vader's lightsaber. So the broken pieces of Darth Vader's lightsaber, if I had to take a big guess here, most definitely is the thing that's really causing the dream for Kylo Ren, the vision in Kylo's sleep, by seeing the actual ghost of Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. And what I find so brilliant about this is because it also lines directly up with what we actually heard a couple of weeks ago, that they were actually developing a new Darth Vader suit for one of the sequences that will also involve the character of Kylo Ren. Now, do note how the dream sequence starts off with a fully suited Darth Vader and eventually morphs into the hybrid Force ghost version of Anakin Skywalker in agony, where Kylo actually hears the screams of Anakin, to Kylo Ren in a similar way to when Anakin Skywalker was burned on Mustafar after the defeat by Obi-Wan Kenobi. So in this scenario, you can really see all the different connections that J.J. Abrams is trying to make as far as parallels go. He's trying to draw from these moments from the prequels all the way to the originals, and even moments in the sequel trilogy such as The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, to make this movie feel rather poetic, and keeping that original idea by George Lucas. It's like poetry, it rhymes. And that's one thing that I truly love about Star Wars as a franchise is, well, it is like poetry. Each and every movie does have a lot of mirrors to either the movie before it or either to the same exact movie in its place to a previous trilogy. Now, the last thing that I do want to go over is how Kylo Ren is having this dream sequence in his chambers. Now, a lot of you guys may not know what his chambers really are. You do get glimpses of it in The Force Awakens and even in The Last Jedi. It's basically his own personal space where he keeps a lot of his relics and his artifacts and his belongings, if you will, like his helmet and even his actual outfit that you do see in The Last Jedi and in The Force Awakens. So it's very intriguing that we will actually have a more personal side to Kylo Ren and what he's really going through in Episode 9. It's kind of like what we saw in Revenge of the Sith, like I say, where Anakin Skywalker is sleeping in bed next to Padme, and he wakes up from that terrible nightmare, and he begins to have this conversation with her, and tells her about what he was actually dreaming of. And looking back at everything now, I really do believe that it is best in order to incorporate moments of Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker into Episode 9, given that it is the final installment of the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself, before we move on to the new Star Wars trilogy into a new era of the Star Wars franchise itself. So anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.